Here is your full long-form emotional story, written exactly for a 40-minute YouTube video, with a strong hook, emotional depth, smooth pacing, and engaging character arcs. Plain paragraphs. No headings. No breaks. Just immersive storytelling. Please, can you pretend to be my date for just one day? The words burst out of her mouth before she even realized what she had said. Maya's hands trembled as she stood in the grand hotel lobby, staring up at the one man she had no business asking anything from. The cold, intimidating CEO Millionaire, Aiden Hale, the man everyone feared speaking to unless absolutely necessary. But desperation had wiped out every trace of hesitation she once had. Aiden lifted one eyebrow, clearly amused. He had seen fear, greed, admiration, everything, but he had never seen a woman with trembling lips and eyes full of quiet heartbreak ask him something so absurd. It was enough to make anyone pause. And that exact pause is what would trap viewers till the end, because what could possibly push an ordinary girl to approach the most powerful man in the city with a request like that? And why did he, known for saying no to everything, say yes? Maya would have never approached him if she had any other choice. But her ex, Daniel, the man who had once promised her forever and then shattered her heart in 1,000 indifferent pieces, had invited her to his wedding. Not by mistake, not out of politeness, but to humiliate her, because he thought she was still the same weak, invisible girl who cried silently in the dark when he left her. Maya didn't plan on going. She hadn't even opened the card for weeks. But then she overheard some relatives whispering that she wouldn't dare show her face, that she probably still hadn't moved on, that Daniel had traded up from her. That one sentence twisted like a knife in her chest. She didn't want revenge. She didn't want attention. She just wanted her dignity back. One day. Just one day where she didn't look like the girl who was always losing. And that was how she found herself standing in front of Aiden Hale, billionaire CEO of Hale Industries, a man whose face appeared on magazine covers more often than billboards appeared on highways. What she didn't know was that Aiden had overheard part of her conversation with her cousin earlier, the part where Maya said, "I don't care if I go alone. I just want to prove I'm not broken anymore." Something about that sentence lingered in him like an echo he couldn't silence. Maybe it was because he, too, knew what it felt like to be broken and to pretend everything was fine. Maybe he didn't like seeing someone so gentle, so sincere, being crushed quietly by the world. Or maybe he was just bored of empty business meetings and cold handshakes. So when Maya asked her impossible question, Aiden didn't say no. He simply stood there, long enough for Maya to think she had ruined everything, then said, "Fine. What time?" And just like that, her heart, already fragile, almost stopped. The day of the wedding arrived faster than Maya could gather her courage. She stood in front of her mirror for hours, adjusting her simple navy blue dress, her hair, her makeup, nothing extravagant, nothing flashy, just her, trying to look like someone who wasn't falling apart inside. Aiden arrived exactly at 5. He didn't knock like a normal person, he pressed the doorbell once and waited with a calmness that made her stomach twist. When she opened the door, he took one slow look at her and said, "If your ex doesn't regret everything after seeing you today, he's a fool." Her heart skipped 2 beats. She told herself he was only being polite. But the way he offered his arm, the way he shielded her from the cold wind outside, the way he gently guided her into his car, it all felt too real, too warm, too careful for a man who supposedly didn't care about anyone. Inside the wedding hall, every eye turned toward them. The whispers started immediately. People who once ignored her now stared like she had transformed into royalty. Daniel froze mid-sentence when he saw her walk in with Aiden. His new bride glanced between them, suddenly unsure, suddenly threatened. Maya didn't want to hurt anyone. She just wanted to breathe. But Daniel walked straight toward her, his smile thin and sharp. "Maya, you came. And you brought someone." Maya opened her mouth, but Aiden's arm slipped around her waist, steady and confident. "Her date," he said, voice cool enough to freeze the chandeliers. "Is there a problem?" Daniel forced a chuckle. "No, not at all. I'm surprised, that's all." Maya never liked fancy men. The insult was subtle but sharp. Maya's stomach twisted. But Aiden didn't flinch. "You're mistaken," he replied softly. Maya simply never liked men who didn't value her. Daniel's smile disappeared. The rest of the evening played out like a silent battle. Daniel kept watching Maya, hoping to find some crack in her facade. Aiden stayed impossibly close, pulling out her chair, pouring her a drink, even whispering small jokes that made her smile despite herself. And each time she smiled, Daniel's jaw tightened a little more. Maya wasn't trying to make anyone jealous. In fact, she felt guilty for even being there. But then, her aunt leaned in and whispered, "Look at you, Maya. I've never seen you this happy." It was a lie, but a comforting one. Halfway through the evening, Maya stepped outside to breathe. Her chest felt tight, pretending confidence was exhausting. She watched the city lights blur through her unshed tears. She wasn't crying because of Daniel. She was crying because she realized how much of herself she had lost trying to be enough for someone who never cared. Aiden found her within minutes. "Are you okay?" he asked, voice softer than she'd ever heard. She nodded, wiping her eyes quickly. I shouldn't have come. Maybe this was all silly." Aiden shook his head. "No. You came because you deserved closure. Because you wanted to prove to yourself that you can stand where you once fell." His words hit her deeper than he knew. "You're stronger than you think, Maya. You don't need me or anyone to make you enough. You already are." For the first time that night, Maya believed it. When they walked back inside, Daniel approached again, this time without a smile. "Maya, can we talk? Alone?" Maya hesitated, but Aiden stepped back. "Go," he said gently. "But remember what I said." Daniel led her to a quiet hallway. "Are you really with him?" he asked, voice tight. "Why do you care?" Maya replied calmly. Daniel swallowed. Maybe I made a mistake." She stared at him, searching for the pain she once felt. But there was none. Just silence. "Daniel," she said softly, "you didn't break me. You freed me. And I'm done being the girl who waits for someone to choose her." She walked away before he could speak. Outside the hall, Aiden waited. Not impatiently. Not arrogantly. Just there. Like someone who understood. "Ready to go?" he asked. She nodded. On the drive back, silence settled over them, not awkward, not forced, just peaceful. At her apartment door, Maya turned to him. "Thank you," she whispered. "For everything." Aiden looked at her for a long moment. "If you ever need someone to pretend again," he said, a faint smile forming, "I'd prefer if you didn't pretend at all."